This video will look at interval notation, which is a way to express your answers typically used with inequalities. If you remember an inequality, we would typically say something like, we are going to use all values less than 5. So the word less than would indicate an inequality. There's a few other words such as greater than, or we could include the less than or equal to. So if I said I want to include all values that are less than or equal to 5, that means I would count any number smaller than 5 and all the way up until 5. The other one you would see with inequalities, greater than or equal to. So on the left-hand side, we have a couple reminders here about the notation. Hopefully those symbols look familiar, the less than, the greater than. And remember, if it has the bar underneath it, it's kind of looks like part of the equal sign, comboed with the less than, that's your less than or equal. And the opposite, greater than or equal, has the greater than symbol, also part of the equal sign. The other portion that I want to highlight here, when we're graphing on a number line with inequalities, you may see an open circle or a closed circle. So the less than has the open circle, as well as greater than also has the open circle. Now, if we want to count the value, we're going to use a closed-in circle. So notice that these two at the bottom, that less than or equal and the greater than or equal, have the filled in circle because we're going to actually count the value. If I go back to my example, if I want to use numbers less than or equal to 5, I would shade into my number line all the way up until 5, and then I would use that colored in or fill in the circle at 5. Now, in addition to using a number line to show what values we want to include for our answer, we could use what's interval notation, and that's on the right-hand column. Interval notation will use basically two numbers, kind of a start and a stop for the set of numbers that we're going to include in our answer. And depending on if we're going to include the number or not, you'll see that we may use a parenthesis. So any kind of open points will include a parenthesis. Also, anything with like infinity sign would get a parenthesis. Whereas if we want a closed point, we want to count that value, you're going to use right here these brackets. So quick recap before we go into some examples. For interval notation, you're going to decide between parentheses and brackets based on if we're going to count the point or not. And then we're going to use a start and a stop number as well. So let's take a look at some examples. And if you're following along in class, I'm actually going to start with example 2. I think this might be a better place to start. We'll come back and look at example 1. So I have my little chart, my little cheat sheet above, and then the first example, I'm looking at the number line for example A, and it looks like we have values here between the number 5 and 9. Right there. Let me see if I can highlight that. Yep. So when I go to write my interval notation, I am going to use the number 5 as sort of a starting point, and then I am going to use a comma, 9 as my ending point. So I have a start and a stop. Now what I want to do, remember we said we need to decide between parentheses and brackets. So when I look at that 5, notice it is an open circle here at 5. So we are not counting the point 5. And then if I go to my key up above, it says use a parenthesis with any kind of open point. Now notice 9 is filled in, right? We are counting the value 9. It's a solid dot. And my little cheat sheet says we're going to use a bracket around 9 for any kind of closed point. So this way it tells me that my solutions will include numbers between 5 and 9, not counting 5, so right after 5, and then going all the way up till 9, and then because of the bracket, I'm going to include 9. And that right there is your interval notation for example A. We do have one more number line. I'm going to look at example B. And when I take a look, it appears that the entire number line is shaded, and with those arrows meaning it's going to extend in both directions. So that tells me that my starting point is actually at negative infinity, and my ending point, well, we're going to go all the way to the right to positive infinity. So really it's the whole number line. We would say all real numbers, but in interval notation, since we want to use a start and a stop, negative infinity and positive infinity would be the way to go. And then I do need to decide, remember we said parentheses or brackets, depending on if you're going to count the point, not count the point. Infinity is a special case. And since it's not truly a number, we're not going to have a closed point. It counts as an open point or a parenthesis. So all infinity symbols, well, whether it's negative or positive, will automatically have a parenthesis. And there's your interval notation for example B. So our next example, and if you're following along in class, this is actually example 1 on our worksheet. They want us to graph on the number line, then practice our interval notation. So let me take a look at example A. I'm going to read that as x is less than 13. So I'm going to go ahead and put 13 on my number line. I'm going to put that out here to the right of 0. And then I am going to use an open circle at 13. I don't want to count the number 13. And we're going to use less than. So I'm going to shade everything to the left and put an arrow saying that we're going to go all the way to the left to negative infinity. So that's my number line. So now let's practice our interval notation. That's the new part where I need a start and a stop number, and we always work from left to right or smallest to biggest. So on the left side, remember that arrow? We said it was going all the way to negative infinity. So I'm going to use that as the first point. And then if I follow along, notice we go all the way up until 13 here. So I'm going to use the number 13 as my second point. Last step, let's decide, do I need a parenthesis or a bracket? And infinity or negative infinity will always get a parenthesis. And then when I look at the number 13, since we are not counting it, that means it's an open point. So I'm going to look at the key. That would be open points parenthesis. So there's my interval notation for example A. We've got one more, example B. So let's take a look. This time when I read, it says x is greater than or equal to 6. So let me go ahead and put 6 on the number line, just to the right of 0. And then I am going to decide to count that value or fill in the number 6, because remember we said greater than or equal to. So greater than, I'm going to shade off to the right. So that is my number line colored in at 6, and all those numbers bigger than 6. Okay, interval notation. Let's get ready. I need a start and a stop. Remember, we work left to right. So as I scan the line, the first thing I see with my shading is the 6. So I'm going to include the number 6 as my first value. And then I go all the way to the right, and I want to find a stopping point. But in this case, it's going all the way to infinity. So it's not really going to stop. It's going to go on forever. So I have my 6 to infinity, and we're going to include all numbers in between 6 and infinity. Now when I look at the key up above, 6 was a filled in or closed point, so that needs a bracket. For 6, infinity will always get the parenthesis, and voila, there is your interval notation.